I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. My apologies and much love. My sincere, deepest apologies and much love.
Like, you know, the nigger thing.
Yeah. Saying the word nigger.
You've already said nigger.
D is just like nigger. Saying nigger.
She's calling you a nigger. It's like this
boy that he's a nigger and starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And then our niggers start saying nigger. Allowed to use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. See nigger. Word nigger.
This video, we're going to talk about a few different things. Of course, we're going to discuss the Joe Rogan controversy. Don't really know why it's considered a controversy since most of these videos have already leaked multiple times in his career and nothing happened. But for some reason, there's this new motivation to get Joe Rogan the fuck up out of here. And trust me, I don't care. Get rid of him. But I feel like there's a larger agenda and it has nothing to do with black people. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we're going to also talk about something that I feel is often misunderstood, and that is the difference between prejudice versus racism. Those two things are not interchangeable, and it really is chafing my ass when people use those words like they're synonymous. Joe Rogan is a 54-year-old stand-up comedian, mixed martial artist, social commentator, actor, and successful podcaster. Some of his biggest projects are Fear Factor, News Radio, and Last Comic Standing. What he is mostly known for is his very successful podcast that started on YouTube and now is on Spotify. Recently, there's been this new agenda to get rid of Joe Rogan for old prejudice comments that he made in the past, referring to African Americans as the quote-unquote planet of the apes, and using the N-word. Most of the time when he used the N-word, it was designed to be a part of a joke. Now, I am not about to sit here and defend this man. I mean, he's a prejudiced cunt, but if we jump on Joe Rogan, we should probably hold somebody else accountable for their use of the N-word.
It's the white man dividing the niggers by the color and the hue. Interesting. That's the kind of poetry I dig, man. Street poems. Is she gonna have a whole bunch of new poems for us? Is she gonna say the word nigger a lot?
It appears every poem has that word in it.
All right. That's good stuff. That's fun. That's fun.
Now, this was just some of the racist bullshit that was on the Howard Stern show in the early 90s. Now, it didn't get very sanitized until right around 2013, but Howard Stern used to do a variety of racist things. Number one, he had a character called Crazy Alice, who described herself as a mixed-race black woman who hated being black. She would go on long tirades about how she hated black people, how she hated Obama, comparing him to a monkey, a variety of disgusting, ugly things. And bear in mind, even though Crazy Alice started calling in the early 90s, it wasn't until Howard Stern moved from terrestrial radio to Sirius satellite radio when it really got ugly.
Well, this is Angry Alice. I here to date that fucking moon cricket lesbian Robin. I told it's not a real fucking lady. That bitch.
Moon cricket lesbian?
Yes.
Robin.
That's horrible.
She's convinced you're gay.
And no, she just hates me because I think she wants my life.
And she's
Right.
convinced you're a moon cricket.
Moon cricket.
That's ridiculous.
I told her you were Indian. American Indian.
Cut just like a nigger in these neighborhoods. She's not a lady, and she like pussy too. And Benji, when this show is over, who the fuck gonna hire your fat ass, fucking disrespecting gay house? Said, fuck him? No, fuck you! If it weren't for him, you wouldn't be in that fucking studio with your fat ass looking like a big fish-eyed freak. Don't you disrespect Gay Howard like that again. And Gay Howard, in the Hitler days, Jews were niggers too. They still are today, those who hate Jews, okay? They are niggers too. The Jews. Bye-bye.
Well, she's right about that.
Another thing that Howard Stern liked to do was make fun of his co-host, Robin Quivers. Now, Robin Quivers was a woman who started off a nurse. She was in the military. She ultimately transitioned to broadcasting. And as a black woman, she experienced a lot of racism, lots of sexism, and comments about her weight. But even with those limitations, she managed to excel. When she partnered with Howard Stern, they created probably one of the most successful radio programs in history. Robin Quivers is paid a lot of money. She's paid somewhere between $20 to $32 million a year for her almost 20-year-long contract with Sirius Satellite Radio. Without a doubt, Robin Quivers is probably the most financially successful black female broadcaster in radio history. However, Robin has experienced a lot of criticism in the black community because of her relationship with Howard and her silence anytime there is any type of black issues. Being the only black female on the Howard Stern show isn't all peaches and cream, because most of the time there's jokes made about her breast, her blackness, even the fact that she was sexually assaulted by her father. The question is all the disrespect worth the money?
Hot Wheel, I know y'all gonna be off Monday. I don't know why, for some fucking Martin Luther King birthday. Blacks never done nothing for me, so I don't feel good about bringing up the history of black people. I just want to let you know, I just saw the phone that fat ass cheating, lost weight, lesbian Robin had. She had a phone in her hand look like mine. I'm going to change it because I don't want nothing like her. I don't even want to be in her race, but I got no choice. So I just want to let you know she's a two-faced black jigaboo, jigaboo bitch. I say jigaboo. That's what I feel about her. She heard me on the show, and then she told her to talk about me with those fucking queer, gay out, and old bare-faced rap. So I'm going to change my phone. I just saw her black ass with the same phone I had. Only thing is just another color.
What is she talking about, Robin? Robin?
That's what's happening.
Crazy Alice left a message, and here it is. She's angry with you now, Robin.
What did I do?
Because you're trying to feel good.
I heard Eric the actor on air last week. I told that little motherfucker we're crack. The motherfucker is hooked to the show. But when it comes to that crazy nigga Robin, that lesbian, that bitch ain't gonna be no healthier than me and you put together. I think she's being stupid. They're just like a nigga. They get a lot of money to do it foolish. While I'm living in hell with the crazy spicks and the junkie. That's why I said I'm just a rich people. Because they would get where they don't have to deal with shit like I'm dealing with. And I'll see you soon, Sam. And take care.
All right, there it is, Robin.
I get it. The natural question is, what does Howard Stern have to do with Joe Rogan? Besides the fact that Joe Rogan has been on the Howard Stern show on multiple occasions, Joe Rogan used Howard Stern's Sirius show as the template for his podcast. And much like Joe Rogan, Howard Stern has a long history of saying offensive things. Granted, Howard Stern offended everyone. I don't think anybody was safe. Anti-Jewish statements made, and Howard Stern is Jewish. Blatantly racist, blatantly homophobic, blatantly misogynistic. The show was something that wasn't for everyone. Howard Stern got fined a lot throughout his career on terrestrial radio. Joe Rogan and Howard Stern come from a different era. And many people who are millennials and older harken back to this time because they feel like the world was a little bit more free. People could say things that were off color. The question remains, is Joe Rogan, or Howard Stern for that matter, racist? Well, I can tell you one thing. When Joe Rogan was confronted with his statements, he let out one of those fake apologies that really don't mean anything. However, when Howard was confronted about his racist past,
You were shocked, John. You used the N-word a lot. You
No, I didn't. I used the N-word.
Yeah, you did.
Wait a second. Hold on
I do.
before you
I
say
remember
that.
it.
Whoopi, hold on.
Wait.
No, we had to use the N-word.
Yeah, you did.
Wait a second. Hold on before you say that.
I remember it.
All right, ain't that right, you smelly nigger?
I didn't write that.
Well, you is a smelly nigger. Hey, Robin, what does you call a black rocket scientist?
I don't know,
A
Ted.
nigger.
Robin Quivers.
Oonga boonga. Now, I'm just trying to improve my image. The black people are against me because they say that I'm not a real black man.
And I don't mean this in a disparaging way since this is your... But nigger, let me say something.
No, nigga what?
Nigger what? Let me say something. When I saw that name in the bulletin board, I assumed you were a white racist.
I did too.
No.
I didn't know your name was Nigger what?
I don't even read your posts.
Nigger says what?
Let me just say this quickly, folks.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Nigger what? Go ahead.
Okay, nigger what?
So 5 years later, after my father's...
I'm Mr. Kikewat.
Black people want the same thing white people want.
There's no question.
Black people want slavery as much as white people want. The slaves we want is the Indo-Chinese.
Oh, no.
You understand? If we could enslave them, then the blacks and the whites would be equal, Petey. Follow what I'm saying.
I dragged my lanky ass into this radio station to break balls with my niggas. Don't criticize my niggas, cause they's my niggas. Baba Boo is my very own lazy big ass nigga. I love him. I love that homo Ralph who cleans my underwear. That is one good nigga. He is a cleaning nigga. Radio niggas, that's what we're talking about here, you skank. Loves my radio nigga.
Before we end this video, we have to talk about the difference between racism and prejudice. A lot of times people think those two things are the same, and they're not. The difference is, prejudice has more to do about an individual's personal attitude about a group of people. It can be based on gender, it can be based on ethnicity, it can be based on race, it can be based on age, sexuality. Basically, it's one person's personal attitude about a group of people. Simple as that, right? People can benefit or suffer due to a prejudice. For example, people who are light-skinned or mixed race may benefit from the system of colorism in the black community, whereas people who are dark-skinned may not benefit from that situation. At the foundation of all prejudice are stereotypes. And that's pretty much how these things are created. Now, here's the difference with racism. When you think of racism, think of the word system. Anytime you hear ism, it means system. It doesn't mean one specific person. It's multiple people using multiple levels of oppression to create a system of oppression. For example, redlining. Redlining was a process that was done to basically prevent black people from moving to certain neighborhoods. It also made it impossible for black people to get loans to purchase any property, turning much of the black community into a renter class. Now, they say redlining has ended, but I really doubt that. Every couple of years you see black people suing large banking institutions because of suspected redlining. Homeownership is a very important element to generational wealth. With racism, you are taking your prejudices and you're using your power to oppress a group of people. So I can comfortably say Joe Rogan is definitely prejudiced. He has his own belief system about African Americans. He clearly thinks that they're not as human as he, based off of the Planet of the Apes comment and a variety of other comments that he made about black people. And also the kind of people that he's had on his platform. I mean, he's had actual neo-Nazis on his platform and basically gave them softball questions. But can I say he's racist? Well, based off of my research, I can't find any legitimate lawsuits or complaints against Joe Rogan for anything specifically related to race. Joe Rogan has a lot of power. He has a lot of power to oppress people if he wanted to, but nobody's come forward yet. However, many people argue the fact that he had someone like Milo Yiannopoulos. Look, I don't want to even learn this dude's name. He's the queer Nazi, that dude. The fact that he had him on his podcast, giving him a platform to basically dodge questions and pretend like he's just some innocent is enough to say, hey, even though he's not using his dollars to effectively oppress anyone, he is giving a platform for those who do. Howard Stern, on the other hand, has let's just say a more of a checkered past. And it looks like people have actually taken Howard to court for a variety of things. For example, in 1992, a Filipino group filed a lawsuit against Howard Stern for racist remarks. Couldn't find out any additional information about that lawsuit. Those type of things typically are thrown out, but at least it was a symbolic lawsuit. There was also a lawsuit filed by a young lady who said that she wasn't paid by him. Now, she was a woman of no color, so it wasn't really race related. But you see a lot more complaints about him being misogynistic and not so much about anything related to race. There were complaints from Dolly Parton, for example, who was upset that Howard Stern manipulated her audiobook to make her say racist things. And Howard Stern is very selective on who he lets on his platform. And to be quite honest with you, that has a lot more to do with the fact of where he is in his career today. Because back in the 90s, Howard Stern had actual Klansmen on his platform. So if you think about it, that motherfucker racist as hell. This dude was literally out here platforming anti-black biracials and literal Klansmen. We need to get him the fuck up out of here. If only being racist was his only drawback, he's also a bit of a hypocrite. Howard Stern gives advice to Joe Rogan, basically saying that he should tell the black community that he was wrong and also encourage people to go get the vaccine for COVID. Now, I'm not a COVID denier, and I'm not going to get into my personal opinion on those who get vaccinated or who don't get vaccinated. Not because I'm scared of the conversation. I just really feel like that's a personal healthcare decision that you got to make on your own. But it goes back to my initial point in the beginning of this video. This doesn't have anything to do with black people. This has to do with the COVID vaccination. So I find it real cute that they're trying to connect all of Joe Rogan's issues to his use of the N-word and not necessarily his opinion on COVID and the vaccination. At the end of the day, whether you cancel Joe Rogan, keep Joe Rogan around, I don't give a shit. I'm not giving him any money. And it's as simple as that. Support the content creators that you believe in. If they have opinions that you feel are gross, unsubscribe. If you outgrow their content, unsubscribe. If you feel like you're completely against their entire platform, then guess what? You go create a channel. At the end of the day, support who you want to support.
PM Dawn. PM Dawn. PM Dawn.